Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of For the Win Breakdown. I'm Evan Thorpe. This is our lead NFL writer, Stephen Ruiz. And today we'll be looking at a defensive concept that's taken over college football and is looking to make its way into the NFL. Stephen, what is this defensive concept?
Some coaches call it simulated pressures. Others call it creepers. We're going to stick with creepers just because it's easier to say. But the concept is simple. It's kind of like a blitz where you're going after the same goal, which is either getting a one-on-one with a running back or maybe producing a free rusher. And how you do that with these creepers is you're dropping a traditional pass rush player, so one of these guys line up on the line, and replacing him in the rush with either a linebacker, a safety, a cornerback. It can be anyone, and that's really what makes them so effective. And we're going to see one drawn up here. Here you have this defensive end who you're expecting to rush. He's on the line of scrimmage. He typically rushes, but he's going to drop into his zone coverage, and then he's going to be replaced with the Mike linebacker. And this really puts the same kind of stress on the protection as a blitz does, but you still have 7 guys dropping back because you're only sending 4. So you get the safety of a typical 4-man rush, safety on the back end, but you're still getting the kind of pressure a blitz typically produces. And we're going to see that. We're going to see this in action. Here you have the defensive end. He's going to drop back, and this linebacker is going to come. And the goal is usually, if you get a free rusher, great, but it's usually to get a one-on-one matchup with the running back who's obviously not a great pass blocker. And that's exactly what LSU gets here. They're kind of overloading this running back while only sending 4, and he gets a free rusher. He ends up grabbing the face mask, so it's not really a sack, but the design did its job. But we're going to see from this end the kind of stress it puts on not only the center, but the running back as well. Miami is actually in position to pick this up. Like, you have this guy sliding to the left. He could pick up this number 4 who's coming around, and then the running back's here. But the running back doesn't, a college running back doesn't really know how to pick up a blitz. So while he is in position here, he sees this guy coming around and thinks, oh, my center can pick up this guy, I'll pick up this guy. And he guesses wrong. And now you have 3 pass blockers on 1 defender. You have 2 guys on one-on-one blocks, and then you have this guy not blocking anyone at all. So you're going to get a free rusher. And again, only sending 4, still have 7 guys in the back end. That's basically, the defense is going to win that every time, as long as they don't grab the face mask.
All right, so what happens if a team picks up the 4 rushers and you don't have that pressure on your quarterback?
That's kind of the beauty of these things compared to a regular blitz, because let's say you're sending a regular blitz. You're sending 6 guys and you have these guys manned up one-on-one across the board. If the quarterback calls the right protection and the offensive line picks up that blitz, you're probably giving up a big play. You're probably giving up a touchdown. But with this, even if, let's say the running back guessed right and he picks them up, you still have 7 guys in the back end. You still have sound coverage, so you can still win the play. Whereas if they pick up a blitz, you have very little chance unless your cornerback makes a great play.
Now, another way is you add a tight end to kind of defend this. How does that hurt the offense when your running back and your tight end is used as blockers and not as position players?
Right. You see that a lot, especially against LSU. In this game in particular, Miami could never send its running back out into the route because he had to help pick up these pressures. They kept their tight end in a lot too. So now the offense only has 3 options running out, and you still have 7 defenders. So, you have a numbers advantage there. You're +4 and out in coverage. You're going to win that every time.
And normally it'd be the opposite. You have less coverage when somebody's sending the blitz.
Right, exactly. And one other thing it does, and this might be the biggest benefit, is you really confuse the quarterback, because this is a traditional blitz. In a traditional blitz, you're usually sending a second level guy, a linebacker typically, and then he's being replaced by a third level defender, a safety in the coverage. And the quarterbacks are trained to keep their eyes downfield. They're trained to read the coverage when they're dropping back to pass. So a quarterback can still see that exchange happening and still have a good idea of what's happening with the coverage. But with a creeper, you have a first level defender dropping back and a second level defender coming. So in order to even see that exchange happening, the quarterback has to drop his eyes and look at the pass rush. And that's what defenses want. They want the quarterback dropping their eyes. Then he's not reading the coverage downfield. And then maybe he starts to panic in the pocket, or maybe he makes a mistake. And we're actually going to take a look at an example of that happening. This is from the Clemson-Alabama National Championship game. Clemson is another team that runs a lot of simulated pressure. Sometimes they'll only send 2 guys and drop 9 into coverage and still get a free rusher. But here, they're going to drop a defensive end here, and they're going to send this cornerback. And Tua kind of has trouble diagnosing the coverage. He ends up throwing this little out route. The cornerback jumps it and takes off for a pick six, and that's how you set the tone in a national championship game. We're going to see it happen here. Here's the cornerback coming. This guy's going to drop out. And then this guy's he's reading both of these guys, knowing he has help over the top. And then he jumps that route. Tua doesn't know what the coverage is, and this is the result. Clemson's up 7-0 early, and they go on to blow Alabama out.
All right, so we've seen the RPO take over NFL 2 years ago. Is this the new RPO for defenses?
Yeah, they use the kind of the same tactics to defend the RPO, where you have only 3 down linemen. Here you see that only 3 down linemen, and then anyone else can rush. I think you're going to see a lot more NFL teams go to these 3 down looks, play more dime coverage, and use pressures like this, where you can get after the quarterback while still not giving up numbers outside. Teams like the Patriots are already doing stuff like this. You saw them get rid of Trey Flowers, a good defensive end, and then sign a guy like Jamie Collins, who's maybe one of the best pass rushing linebackers in the league, so he can really help you in this way. And then teams like the Packers and Ravens are already doing this. They're not doing it as much as LSU has done it, but maybe they'll increase their usage. And then another team is Carolina. They had a lot of defensive problems last year because they didn't have any edge rushers, but now they're transitioning into more of a hybrid defense where they have only 3 down guys, and then they have linebackers who can either drop into coverage or rush. I think you're going to see a lot of teams use this next year, and if there's success, it's a copycat league. You're going to see even more teams the next year.
All right, well, there you have it. The Creeper defense is coming to an NFL team near you. Thank you, Stephen, for breaking that down. I'm Evan Thorpe. Thank you guys for watching.